Frontal. I'm Samantha B. This week, my least favorite insufferable douchebag finally came face to face with what he had become. And no, I am not talking about Jared Leto at the Met Gala. He is my favorite insufferable douchebag. No, I'm talking about Donald Trump trying to hide his entire shame.
The president, as this hearing was underway, invoking executive privilege over the entire Mueller Report.
It's a little late for that, buddy. You can't make something a state secret when it's already been a #1 bestseller. The Mueller Report has given people a reason to go to Barnes & Noble. Well, a reason other than shitting up the bathroom walls. I mean, how do you even do that? No, it is too late to try and claw it back. A lot of your worst deeds are already public. Robert Mueller's bulging secret sacs have already disgorged their fluids. He looks like this now. Oh, look at that slim jawline. Watch out, Tilda Swinton. But Trump is trying to brazen it out on every front. He's using executive privilege to try to stop his former lawyer, Don McGahn, from testifying. He's trying to block Robert Mueller from testifying. And Trump's family lawyer, the Attorney General of the United States, is also refusing to testify to the House. Democrats are calling this a constitutional crisis, while Republicans are calling it an, oh my God, are you guys still mad about all that?
I hope and pray literally for the day when we can join forces and quit trying to push this idea of an attempted coup.
Our Democratic colleagues are apparently really ticked off about the Mueller report, that it found that the whole Russian collusion thing was a big fat zero.
Well, it's a big fat 0 plus a big fat 34 indictments plus a big fat 11 instances of possible obstruction of justice, but it's okay. We all round down to the nearest 0. But it's not just the Mueller report. Trump is vowing to refuse all House subpoenas on every topic from Russian collusion to security clearances. I know this feels like just another news day. Our Barnes & Noble bathroom of a president tries to do a constitutional crisis about twice a week, but unlike that time he tried to make it illegal for truck drivers to not respond when you do this, he might actually get away with it. If that is not a constitutional crisis, it's certainly crisis-y. If he gets away with that, it's like everything Schoolhouse Rock taught us about co-equal branches of government was wrong. That little dancing bill is one step away from jumping in the shredder. And speaking of shredded documents, let's talk about Donald Trump's finances. He claims to be the best business boy. Journalists, his contractors, his creditors, and everyone else claim he is a terrible businessman. Who's right? Turns out they both are. Donald Trump is the best at being terrible.
According to a New York Times analysis of Trump's IRS tax transcripts from 1985 to 1984, the president lost more than $1 billion. Far from being the most successful businessman of his generation, year after year, Trump appears to have lost more money than nearly any other individual American taxpayer.
Jeez. One of the years in question, Trump accounted for nearly 2 cents out of every dollar of business loss reported in the entire United States.
Wait, say that again? He accounted for 2 cents out of every dollar lost in the entire country?
Yes.
2 cents out of every dollar of business loss in the entire United States. I used to think Donald Trump's fortunes took a dip in the early 90s recession. Now I think maybe he was the early 90s recession. Trump defended himself on Twitter, saying that back then, real estate developers intentionally lost as much money as they could, which is why my timeshares in Tallahassee are a good investment. As soon as the alligators give me my keys back, I'll be raking in the dough. But was Trump really just pretending to lose all that money? I call as my next witness Ivanka Trump.
I remember once my father and I were walking down Fifth Avenue, and there was a homeless person sitting right outside of Trump Tower. And I remember my father pointing to him and saying, you know, that guy has $8 billion more than me, because he was in such extreme debt at that point, you know?
And that is why it was okay for him to take that man's change cup. Look, The only thing that Donald Trump really had going for him as a candidate was that he was supposed to be a great businessman. Now we know that not only is he a bad businessman, he is one of the worst in American history. Going by business acumen, we would have been better off electing MC Hammer or Nicolas Cage or Mrs. Blockbuster. And yes, she is a she. Come on, GOP. You are supposed to be the party of fiscal responsibility. Are you really going to choose this money pit over the Constitution? Because if that is the case, I've got a condo in Tallahassee with your name on it. We'll be right back.